Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, all my friends, wherever you are. Before I start my presentation, I will introduce myself first. My name is Yusinta, and you can call me Maya. Student of Government Science in Muhammadiyah University, Yogyakarta, in class Government Science P3, English 5. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. This time I was given the opportunity to deliver a presentation at this time, and then I hope we will gather at this time in a good condition without missing anything. Now I will present the result of the research I have done regarding the public perceptions of government policies in distributing social fund for COVID-19. Next, object of research. The object of research that I thought was in Karangtongko village, Nalum Sari Subdistrict, Jepara Regency, which is one of the areas located in Central Java. Then the respondent that I thought were using a random sampling technique for 11 people from various circles. And the data collection technique is using a questionnaire essay. In this study, using qualitative methods and collecting answers through an essay questionnaires, where there are several questions that will be asked the respondent regarding satisfaction or complaint, critique and suggestion for the village government that implement the policy. And also the expectations that the respondent want to convey in the next acceptance, the next period. Then for the interview protocol to be carried out, it begins with making several questions made through the Google Form website. And then after the question made were them good and correct, the next step was a distribution of the essay questionnaire to several respondents. And after that, all the answers have been collected from several respondents. The next step is to interpret the data that has been collected. The last step is to conclude the data that has been collected. And then, before we start discussion, the result of this study, we should first know the basic meanings of this research. However, the basic of this research is about social assistance, so we must first understand the meaning of social fund. What is the meaning of social fund? Okay. Social fund or social assistance has many meanings. One of which is social assistance is a transfer of money or goods given to the community in order to protect against possible social risks and to improve the welfare of the community. The other definition, according the Permendagri number 32 of 2011, Article 1, that social assistance or bansos is a form of assistance provided by local government to community groups. The form of assistance can be in the form of money or goods, unsustainable and selective with the aim of protection from all possibilities that can cause social risks. And then in accordance with the journal written by Hartini Retnaningsih on 2020 regarding government policies in the social sector in handling COVID-19, social fund assistance. The government seek to create new social policies to help people affected by the COVID-19 pandemic that aim to help the community to survive in the midst of a pandemic that continues to their quality of life, especially the lower case. This is the definition. And then the next slide, what is the result and discussion? Number one is the knowledge of the perceptions about the COVID-19 social fund assistance. And the second, the opinion of the respondent regarding the COVID-19 social fund assistance. And the third, perception as a community in responding to government policies in distributing COVID-19 social funds so far. And then fourth, the criticism they would like to convey to the government regarding the distribution of social funds for COVID-19. If the respondent have complained, they want to convey about this. And then the last, the suggestion that respondent want to convey to the government in distributing COVID-19 social fund for the upcoming period or the next period. And then the first, the knowledge of the respondent about the social fund COVID-19. The majority of respondents had understood what COVID-19 social fund assistance had been given by the central government, which was then distributed to their respective region through local regional apparatus in order to ease the fulfillment of basic needs due to the impact of the pandemic. And the responders also understand that the form of COVID-19 funding assistance is in the form of basic material on case. Judging from the answer from the 11 respondents who have been collected, we can see that they know and understand that the assistance launched by the government is quite helpful for the people affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, the second is the opinion of the respondent regarding the COVID-19 social fund assistance. Oh. The majority respondent felt that the COVID-19 social fund assistance was good and quite helpful for the affected communities. However, decided that the respondent felt disappointed and dissatisfied with it because sometimes the distribution of social assistance fund for COVID-19 is unfair, missed, and also the lack of transparency by the government to the community. And the third, of the 11 answers given by respondent. And then the third is perception as a community in responding to government policies in distributing COVID-19 social funds so far. Those respondents state that the government's role in distributing COVID-19 funding assistance was appropriate and correct because it can help and ease the economical of the affected community. On the other hand, there are also other opinions regarding the inappropriateness of the target in the distribution of aid and also the involvement of element that cause rampant corruptions. And one of 11 respondents, one only I like this response is regarding the policy for the distribution of bansos, it is correct. But there are a few critics from me and regarding who is in entitled to receive it. It must be right on target. And then which means that it must be right on target and evenly distributed. From the government's point of view, the Bansos corruptions must not be repeated by our former Minister of Social Affairs. And then the fourth, the critics they would like to convey to the government regarding the distribution of social fund for COVID-19. If the respondent have complained, they want to convey about this. Some of the critics conveyed by respondent were about who is entitled to receive distribution of social fund for COVID-19, which in its distribution must be right on target to people who really need it and to be corrupted by irresponsible element. Then further on regarding inaccuracy for target in the distribution of COVID-19 social fund. In addition, there are many more criticisms submitted by the respondent. Okay, the answer for all answer. The answer by the first respondent was the critic that was conveyed about the who was entitled to receive the distribution of the fund for COVID-19. And the second answer is not too far from the first respondent, namely regarding inaccuracy of target in the distribution COVID-19 social fund. And the third respondent answered the criticism about the accurate of corruption in government officials. And the fourth answer is critic re-evaluating the data on at recipes and proposing the provision of assistant in rotation. And then the rest also, then the rest of the critique is about the quality, is the aid that will be divided in term of form and also the expiration date. And don't forget to be more transparent about the provision of assistance. Okay, and the last discussion about the suggestion that respondents want to convey to the government in distributing COVID-19 social fund for the upcoming period. Wait. The majority of respondents has understood what COVID-19 social fund assistance had been given by the central government, which was then distributed to their respections through a local regional operator in order to ease the fulfillment of basic need due to the impact on the pandemic. The respondent also understand. And then the first answer I got was the minimized fraud regarding who received it. Not just using the ID card requirements, the government must coordinate with their subordinate, even the local, to convey of people who really need it, because it's possible that those who are not really affected can purpose themselves. And then strict sanction were made those who cheat, because many people registered but we are not too affected, and social fund in the form of basic necessities could be subject in extortion. And the second suggestion is that the distribution of social fund to the community must be accompanied by very strict full supervision so that it is not easy to miss out. Such as from example, a very severe form of corruption. Now, the third suggestion is to design a mechanism by using a direct transfer system to the recipient if possible, thereby minimizing the potential for budget cuts. Then another suggestion in appeal to be careful for the government in making a policy so that irresponsible elements do not appear. In addition, it is also an appeal to the government to be careful and throw in selection benefit to avoid mistargeting. And then uh, the last conclude. After we know about the result and discuss, we can conclude about this research is we can conclude that the government's policies carried out in tackling the COVID-19 pandemic by distributing COVID-19 social fund assistance in the form of cash assistance and not cash assistance are considered by the community as a measure appropriate and also correct with the aim of easing the burden in meeting in the need of the affected community. The most frequent criticism expressed by the respondent was regarding the government lack of the prestigious targeting in distributing the social fund assistance. What is wrong with the target is that people who are seen as capable can actually get help, and while transparency in the distribution of aid by the government to the recipients communities to avoid any misunderstanding between the two parties. Then the last criticism is regarding the government lack the prudence in making policies, which can lead an irresponsible element and lead to rampant corruption. And then, and the last, I think enough with my presentation now about the society's perception of government policies handling COVID-19 social fund. And I'm sorry with wrong word in my presentation. And thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.